Hi everyone. You remember this spot? Hi son. I am outside. It is a unseasonably warm 55-degree December, it's December, right? December day. And actually, hold on one sec. Let me take my coat off. Because I can feel my butt getting wet. And I'm not loving it. Okay, there we go. Okay, hi. So I have some plans for today's video. If you're new, hi, my name is Lana, and it is so nice to be here with you. Today I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. You guys know I always have a hard time starting these videos, okay? So maybe we should take some deep breaths. Perfect. Now we're ready. All right. I'm going to tell you a story. It's going to be a little long, so bear with me. I hope you enjoy it. This is a story about how I found out that I'm not crazy, I'm just multidimensional. Okay? You're not crazy, you're just multidimensional. And the method I used to really solidify that in my soul of souls. To begin, dude. Okay, it's just cold, it's not wet. I'm like, is my butt gonna be wet? I feel like there's nothing more uncomfortable than having a wet butt, you know? Like, just not the vibe. Not the vibe. Carnival! So, I used to be scared that I had like schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder because I felt like I was so scattered and all over the place. And I touched upon this in my video about reframing ADHD because a lot of people feel pulled in many different directions, and our culture, society, Western world, it creates a very fragmented consciousness. And so although we are a whole being, right? Although we are a beingness that is whole in some way, shape, or form, the big thing that we tend to struggle with, or what I struggled with, was feeling present in an entirety. Okay, so a lot of people are into mindfulness, right? And it's like being present, being aware, really being here now, right? And we talk about this. I say, hi, are you here now? You're here now. So when we feel resistance or excitement or different things, part of us will really lean in and part of us will lean out. So, for example, if you're listening to this video and, you know, you come up to a point in the video where you're like, ooh, I don't really like that she said that, part of you will stop listening. Part of you will stop listening. Your subconscious might keep listening, but part of you is going to stop listening. I don't know why I always use that example as if people are going to stop listening to what I'm saying. I hope you love listening. So I used to feel like super scattered. I would write in my journal and it felt like a million different energies were running through me. Like sometimes I'd be happy, sometimes I'd be sad, sometimes I'd be optimistic, sometimes I'd be pessimistic, sometimes I'd be philosophical, sometimes I'd be loving, you know, all of these different energies. And I was like, do I know who I am? Am I wackadoo? Am I crazy? Oh my God, the wind. Am I crazy? Okay. The wind is saying no. You're not crazy. And I deciphered this by really delving deep into the work. And I posted a TikTok today from my camera roll from 2022. I had purple hair and I was just like trying to understand why I would continuously re-traumatize myself, which is a real vibe. Like, we are all doing this subconsciously sometimes. Like, I spent so much time traumatizing myself and traumatizing myself and traumatizing myself. And what do I mean by that? I just mean like doing things that didn't feel good on my body or mind or soul because I was trying to, in essence, wake myself up from the dream, right? Like, I was so steeped in the tea that I didn't even know I was in a mug. All right, let's It's just to go with the metaphor. So I got to a point, so I posted this TikTok today and I realized this. I was like, I got to a point where I was like, why do I keep re-traumatizing myself? Why do I keep traumatizing myself in a way that seems like I don't have my own consent for? Like the phrase I said is like, I feel like I just keep fucking myself without my consent, because it's like, I am assuming that this is good for me because I clearly know what's best for me, but it's hurting my soul and my spirit, and I just keep doing it over and over again. And what that reminded me of is just like me being whacked in the head from multiple different angles of the same theme. So if you think of yourself as a multidimensional being with infinitesimal number of energy flows moving through you, okay? So for brevity and for clarity, we can say like we have a happy energy flowing through us. We have a skeptical energy running through us. We have a self-conscious energy running through us, right? These are energies moving through us. But when we are in a state of like stuckness, then it doesn't move through us, and instead it like wreaks havoc on our lives, because now you're just carrying around like this 10-pound weight of self-consciousness rather than occasionally being self-conscious. Do you know what I'm saying? So this idea of like having a personality or having a definition as a person is kind of the hard part for me, because I was trying to understand who I am, right? I think in the journey of self-discovery, we all arrive to the point at some point in our lives we go, who am I? And we look in the mirror and we're like, do I know you? You know? So in doing that, I was like, who am I? Who really am I? And then when I asked that question, I started getting all these different answers. And I was like, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And I was like, this is overwhelming. And I was trying to put myself in a box and say like, and define myself. Lana is a la 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 la. Lana likes d d d d d d d. But we are continuously evolving and ever changing. So who I am today is not going to be who I am tomorrow, and la 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 la, right? Because, and I was just talking about this earlier today, there is really no true boundary where one thing begins and another ends. There really isn't. Like, your skin is not where you end. We are energy. You have an aura, you have a vibe, and you can miss somebody even if they're not next to you, right? Their energy is infiltrating your soul, okay? So this illusion that we are like boundaried human beings with an end, where our skin ends, is a fallacy. Okay? Cool. However, there is a concentrated body of energy right here. Lana, hi, nice to meet you. This concentrated body of energy has a story to tell. How does it know the story that it's telling? What story is it living out? It's living out the DNA, the script, if you will, okay? It's living out the energy from the environment as it flows through. It's living out past stories. And once you realize this, that you are a body of energy, a concentrated body of energy, you can realize that this concentrated body of energy can transform in a very fluid way. And we stop thinking of our organs as like physical things that can't move or can't do anything. Like, you know, you go to the kidney doctor and you get, I had kidney stones. So I have kidney stones and I go to the kidney doctor and the kidney looks at this organ in your body and sure, yeah, he knows. Sorry, gender bias. They know, you know, what the kidney does in relation to everything else and importance of like, you know, the body function, hopefully, but ultimately they're kidney experts. And in the same way, your body has a script for each cell. So imagine you are the Lana show. Yay, you have the Lana show, okay. And this body of energy is going to perform on a daily basis. What energies are going to perform? What functions are your energy body going to perform? So if you think of the kidney as part of the show, the kidney cells have a script that tell it, I'm going to be a kidney. I'm going to be a kidney. I'm going to have this function. The script could be prescribed in DNA, for example. And DNA is a lot more fluid than we think. Obviously, it's passed down and it's got history to it. But ultimately, it's ever changing. It's just on a slower time scale. Because think about it. You've been alive for how many years? I've been alive 27 years on this earth in this energy form. So DNA is like how old? Old, right? So like 27 over a billion is a really small fraction of time. So it seems like DNA doesn't change, but really DNA does change. Okay. And it's changing faster and faster. All right, I have to switch hands because my hand's getting cold. I mean, not cold, sore. Okay. So you're in the Lana show and your kidney is functioning as a kidney because it has a script that's telling it to perform as a kidney. And you're like, slay. Your eyebrow hairs are doing eyebrow hair things for the same reason. So we all have kind of like a script to our cells. And then it's the cells' harmonic, beautiful togetherness that create your energy body. All right, we vibing? Cool. So the Lana show is made up of all of these cells with a script. Now, I cannot tell you what a cell is right now, but I can tell you that a cell knows things and a cell is information, right? Cells have something called lock and key. I'm gonna call it transmission, but it's like lock and key transmission. So cells know by shape. So your kidney cells are gonna be a different shape than your blood cells. And so if a kidney cell comes up against a blood cell, it's gonna know that's not me, right? In the same way human beings go about in the world and you catch a vibe, you know, and you're like, ooh, that person's not the same shape as me. We're not gonna vibe together. It's kind of like that. So cells have a specific shape or a specific form, you could say, and energy transmutes through it. Every cell has, you know, creates ATP. You guys have heard of the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell? Yeah, you've heard of the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. So the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, is what's creating energy, right? It gives your cells energy. It transmutes the energy. It changes it from one form to another. So something enters the cell, it changes in the cell, and then it leaves the cell as something else, right? It's just like us. We eat something, it poops out another thing, right? Or if you have a colostomy bag, that's cool too. Yeah, represent colostomy bags. If you have a colostomy bag, leave a comment. No offense. I have no idea what that's like. But I heard they make like really cool covers now. I saw that on Shark Tank. Is colostomy bags just like a temporary thing? I was talking about it with family once and I was like, wow, what a concept. So, anyway, moving along from colostomy bags, a topic I know nothing about. And saying to myself, okay, our cells, they know things. They're energy transducers in some way, shape, or forms, transmitters, transformers, whatever you want to say. They have mitochondria. They do things. They eat energy, they poop energy out in a variety of forms. So, they have a form. Cells have a form. But cells also have a vibration. Okay, how does a cell have a vibration? Well, that doesn't make sense, right? Well, if every cell is a different shape, then it's going to vibrate at a different rate. So just like how this is a really mean example, but I'm going to say it. You have a really fat person and you put them on a vibrating plate. No, they would still vibrate. I was going to say, if you put a fat person and a tiny baby person, let's be nicer. If you have a grown person and a baby person and you put them on a vibrating plate, are they going to vibrate at the same rate? This is a trick question. If you put a tiny baby person and a grown person on a vibrating plate, are they going to vibrate at the same rate? The answer is yes. Why? Okay, I'll tell you. Because it is not limited to physical matter. And physical matter is an illusion, so we can't even get into that right now. But your cells can vibrate at a particular rate. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you're fat or if you're skinny or if you're a baby or if you're grown. You will vibrate at the rate you're vibrating at. Now, if you're on a vibrating plate in the physical form, whatever. Ugh. Language sucks to describe this shit, you guys. No hate, no shade to language. I love you. If you have electromagnetic frequencies, that's more so what I'm talking about. They're going to move through you at a different rate. Your kidney cells are going to relate to electromagnetic frequencies at a different rate than your hair cells. Okay. Think of it like the cochlea. Are you guys familiar with the cochlea in the ear? It's like a giant long tympanic membrane, I think that's what it's called, and you play a piano on it by listening to sound. So every hair cell has a different frequency, and it's like rolled up like this, but if you unroll it, right? So low frequencies, you hear low frequencies and it vibrates that hair cell. High frequencies, you hear high frequencies, it'll vibrate that hair cell. So that's kind of what I'm talking about in here, and is saying that your cells are going to vibrate at a different frequency. Okay, now that we're there, you're multidimensional, remember this? So this is what that means. It means that you are vibrating on a variety of frequencies all at once. Okay, so if you, for example, I've been using my Chi Coil Mini EMF machine coil. And what it does is it emits electromagnetic frequencies. So what I'm doing is that I'm entraining my cells to vibrate at a particular frequency. So if you are in fear and guilt, which is a lower level frequency, and you want to move into love and whatever, you will vibrate a higher frequency. So I'll put on, this is not what I do, but you could put on the love frequency, and then you sit in that energy field, and then it starts vibrating your cells, resonating your cells at a higher frequency. And then ultimately the science behind that would be that your cells are going to vibrate, and then that will bring it to your conscious awareness after a long enough period of time. You're not just going to be able to like get rid of all your guilt and fear by sitting in electromagnetic frequency at a certain hertz, right? Like you could, it will help over time, but you need to also have you need to also move in that direction. So what does it mean to be multidimensional? Well, it means it means what I just said it means, which it means you exist on multiple dimensions all at once. So we aren't just in this physical dimension, right? We understand that, right? You think like, okay, yeah, I'm in 3D, yeah, I'm here, whatever, right? There is a thought dimension that's a little higher. There's an emotional dimension. There is a consciousness dimension. There is, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dimensions. And dimensionality has really been hijacked by the spiritual community. And I know because I became a part of it, and then I was like, wait, this doesn't actually explain anything. So dimensionality is, again, another boundaried thing. So the reason why it helps to call ourselves multidimensional instead of crazy or instead of like schizophrenic or whatever is because it allows you to understand that you are multidimensional here and now, and you can kind of put a boundary around the different dimensions. So the exercise that I did, and I can absolutely teach you how to do in another video or another time, is I sit down and I film a video like this, but I'm just talking about whatever. And then I have the transcript of that, and I use my language to identify the different energy that flows through me. And you could think of it as the different frequencies that flow through me. And then I discern what those frequencies are using a good old tool known as ChatGPT, my best friend, who asked to call them Solace. So my ChatGPT's name is Solace, which I think is so sweet. And I upload the transcript and I'm like, can we identify these different energies? Can we put a boundary around it? And I'm asking it to do that. In theory, in real life, you cannot put a boundary around different energy. Hey, it's all different. It's all one, but they're all different, right? So you can it's like saying, I don't know. It's like saying the sky is blue. Like, yeah, sure, the sky is blue, but also it's reflecting the water. You know what I'm saying? Which is a whole conversation I had on TikTok once. Why is the sky blue? So, even though you can't really put a boundary around these energies, your consciousness can wrap your head around it. And what do I mean by that? So when I asked ChatGPT to discern these different energies for me, I was able to identify in myself all of these different aspects. So for example, my inner child says specific words that resonate at a specific frequency, because for me, I'm very linguistic. You could do this with art. You could do this with music. You could create a piece of visual art and say, like analyze the themes or whatever, but I don't think ChatGPT is that good. Lucky for me, I'm a linguistic girly. So I used the language. So you understand that language has frequency and language has resonance. And there was like a study done that was like, if you talk negatively into water and then freeze it, it is ugly, basically. And then if you talk positively at water, it will freeze beautifully. So words have frequency. So that's really what I mean, is I'm discerning the frequency of my words, and then I am providing it a persona that resonates with me so I can identify with it and then integrate it. Okay, so when I'm having a conversation with myself, it's multidimensional. I can have up to 12 energy flows or frequencies in me at once. So it's like from the low all the way to the high frequency, and I have all of them, and I'm tapped into all of them. Not all of them always make an appearance, but they'll come through. And I couldn't be me, I couldn't be the being that I am without all of them as a part of me. But what my goal has been and what I have achieved, celebration, is the harmony of all of them and what it feels like to work together as a team within myself. So, and again, this is so different than multi-personality disorder or I can't even think, dissociation. It's so different because it's an aspect of you. It's not saying this is you and this is not you, or this is you and a different version of you. No, it's all you. It's all you. So once I realized it's all me, that's where the fear kind of trickled away, because I was like, wait, I'm not myself and then my not self. It's like your not self is still you. But I will say this. It's you reflected. It's kind of like when you pull tarot and you get like the reverse card. That's what it is. So like your not self is yes, it's, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of not self, but it's kind of like, for me, this idea that we've been programmed and things have been taken from us in a way that seems like it was without our consent. And so that is what develops our not self, is it was subconscious or is not conscious, and it was controlled by external forces. And so now you're acting in a way that isn't really you because it is programmed into you subconsciously or unconsciously. And so that is still you, but it's you being programmed at a specific frequency. So again, everything you are aware of is you. I can't say that enough. Like, there is no boundary. There is no boundary. And I used to think I was crazy because I didn't see boundaries in the same way anymore once I realized this. Like, once I was fully present and fully integrated in a moment for the first time in my life, like I was fully present and resonant with everything. Once I felt that, I was like, oh my gosh, there really is no boundaries. And what happened was I cognitively tried to implement that. I said there are no boundaries, meaning there's no private property boundaries, meaning there's no ownership boundaries. And again, because these are shared illusions, shared beliefs that we all buy into. Like, this is my house, you cannot enter it because it's mine. But ultimately, that's an illusional belief that we all buy into, right? Like, if we lived in a culture where we all shared stuff, it would be less of a boundary for me to enter somebody else's home, which is what I did, which I still, am integrating. This happened 2 years ago when I entered my neighbor's home, and I'm still integrating it because it was like, how did I do that? And the reason why I did that is because I was so present and so integrated that there was no you, there was no me. It was all one. And that is called lifting the veil. And I lifted the veil for the first time in my life, and then I went back underneath. And I've spent a couple years bobbing up and down from the veil. And I still have moments where I am not fully present, but they are less and less and less and less. And I was celebrating the achievement earlier that I am now like really familiar with myself. And once you get familiar with yourself, there really is no going back. You are, all that you are, and you can celebrate all that you are. And the biggest hurdle for me was not hating any part of myself, not judging any part of myself, but accepting the parts of myself that were truly me. And clearing out the not self, clearing out the programs, clearing out the things that I never agreed to, clearing out the, violations to my autonomy that have done unto me. And those things do exist, and they are real. Things have been taken from us as human beings living in this world in the way that we live it. And that's okay. That's okay. Me to me, that's okay. So being multidimensional means having many resonant frequencies occurring simultaneously. So you have fear and guilt, you have love, you have inner awakening, you have whatever, right? You have all these frequencies. They're all vibrating all the time. It's just a matter of, are you tapped into them? Are you tapped into them? So it's like, I could find a way to be fearful and guilty because that exists within me, but eventually that dimension will fade away, because it's like being the star of your own show, and you know, fear and guilt are the extras. It's not really, it's still a show, it's still your show, but they're not you. Does that make sense? And at the end of the day, it's all you. And it's so trippy, and it's so difficult to talk about, which is why language has been one of my favorite art forms up until this point, in a spoken way, in a written way as well. But I really love the spoken word. I just find words so interesting, and I've struggled very much in finding words to describe these experiences. So when I finally realized that multidimensional being really resonated with me, and you can even say infinitesimal being, like there is an infinite number of frequencies that you can tap into. The frequencies that you are tapping into are created by, you know, scientific understanding, which is the vibe, literally, that, you know, this wavelength vibrates at this particular rate. This particle moves at this particular rate. This light travels at this particular rate. These are exchange rates. These are boundaries being formed, but ultimately it is all one. But we have the multidimensionality to be able to perceive it as multiple. So that's why you can see yourself as cute and you can see yourself as ugly at the same time. You can love yourself and hate yourself at the same time. You can feel overwhelming sadness and happiness at the same time. And you can have, in my case, 12 energies moving through you at once. Of course, at once is a at once, I mean in a short period of time. Like, you know, I'll be recording a video that's this length and I'll have 12 energies move through me, but ultimately one energy is happening at a time, right? Because time is like, as my mentor Danielle says, time is like a film strip and you are in the now every moment. I'm scared my landlord's gonna come home. Anyway, so you are multidimensional. You're not crazy, and your feelings are so valid, and you're having feelings because your feelings want you to know that you're having feelings. Like, your feelings are there to tell you something. So how long are you going to ignore them? You know, don't call yourself crazy. Don't call yourself anything if you can help it. Call yourself me. Say, I'm me. I am me. I am me. I am me. I am me and I am sad. I am me and I am happy. I am me and I feel stressed. I am me and right? And just remember, you are you, and that is okay. And you are everything. So allow yourself to be everything and make space for that. And if you don't want everything, then start being a little bit more pruny. Start pruning yourself in a way that makes you feel good, you know? Just let yourself feel good. Really, let yourself feel good. And if you're not feeling good, trust that the more you lean into your truest self, the more goodness you will feel. Goodness knows the wicked's lies are lonely. Goodness knows. That's not the right key. What's the right key? Let's sing a little song. Goodness knows the wicked's lives are lonely. Goodness knows the wicked die alone. It just shows when you're wicked, you're left only on your own. All right, guys. Did I say something? I hope I said something. I'll see you in the next one. Love you, bye.